Joining me now, Congressman Tim Griffin of Arkansas. He had an interesting exchange yesterday with New Jersey Congressman Bill Pascrell, who did something I don't think I've ever seen before, and that's stand up from his chair in the committee hearing and yell and scream at Congressman Griffin. Congressman, I want to promise you I am not going to yell or scream at you today, and I will stay in my chair the whole time.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't think anybody took him seriously on the committee. I think he was trying to get a little TV time, and when you can't get TV time with the substance of your words, you stand up and point and shout, and But it wasn't a big deal. I was trying. It was actually his time, and he was asking a bunch of rhetorical questions or questions to members of Congress on our side, and I thought I would answer. But apparently, he didn't like my answer. So, what the Democrats are trying to say, Governor, is if not Obamacare, then nothing. They want to pose this false choice of Obamacare is the only way to fix problems such as pre-existing conditions, and if you are somehow against Obamacare, then you want to go back to how everything has always been, and that's just it couldn't be further from the truth, because there are many patient-centered options for healthcare reform. I think we need healthcare reform now more than ever, as we're seeing with the unfolding of this. So there's a lot of substance to talk about.
It was interesting that he went off on that tirade, because the Republicans have repeatedly offered options, alternatives, entire replacement plans. Not that they've been given a lot of attention, but Congressman Tom Price of Georgia, for example, has put together a comprehensive plan. Heck, I put together a plan, presented for an hour on television, and said, here are the components, here's how this thing could work. And I know it would work because, I've seen it done at the state level. And a lot of it leads to the flexibility. So I've become increasingly convinced that some of these Democrats are not really there to talk about the problems of Obamacare and how to fix it. They're there to try to deflect attention from the problems that are so just glaring that it's making them look like fools for having ever voted for this stuff.
Sure, and their criticism of us is that we somehow won't join them in trying to correct this monstrosity. But a lot of us feel that it is so fundamentally flawed at its core that trying to save and make Obamacare work is like trying to invest in a 1975 Pinto because you believe it can win a NASCAR race. I mean, what you need is a different car. Your 75 Pinto, you may be attached to it, but it ain't going to win NASCAR. And so a lot of us feel that fundamental objection and know where this is going, and we've been saying it. And we also know, Governor, that now in this modern age, we see more and more that solutions are bottom up. Right? They come from people through innovation and not a top-down Cold War factory mentality. And what is Obamacare? It is a top-down, one-size-fits-all. Washington is going to tell all of the governors how the cow ate the cabbage, and they're going to tell them how to do it, and because Washington knows best. And you're right. Flexibility is the key. Why not let the states experiment? If one state wants to do something like Massachusetts did, let them do it. That's their choice. If another state thinks that's a bad idea, let that state try something. A lot of us were for exchanges, state-based exchanges, not federal involvement, but state exchanges a long time ago. And so this is about whether Washington has all the answers. And I think the answer to that's an emphatic no.
This week, the president's even been called out by the New York Times, by, of all places, BSNBC, which I never thought I'd live to see, over his statement that now has been proven to be an outright lie. If you like your health insurance, you can keep it. NBC reports that he knew that 3 years ago. that wasn't true. And how much of yesterday's theatrics from the Democrats do you think was to keep attention away from what I'll just call the big lie?
Well, sure, and a lot of this is to divert attention and say, well, this is about the website, and the website's going to be fixed, and to criticize us. But the bottom line is the website is a symptom of this deeper incompetence in many ways. And you're right, the president's in a situation where he says, like he has said with a whole host of other things, I didn't know. I didn't know till I saw on television. I didn't know until I read it in the paper. I didn't know about the IRS scandal. I didn't know about the website problems. I didn't know that you couldn't keep your insurance. I didn't know about this. I didn't know about that. And didn't know we were spying on people. I mean, at some point, accountability has to be ensured. And I think, look, there's so much going on here across these different fronts. It's almost hard to keep up. And that's why we have numerous committees looking at this.
Yesterday, Marilyn Taver, administrator for CMS, Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, appeared before your House and Ways and Means Committee. Did you get any answers that were satisfactory out of Marilyn Taver?
You know, looking back on it, I don't think we got really any substantive answers. One of the key things that we wanted to know is, what are the enrollment numbers? Do you know? And that was asked 10 different ways, and she gave the same exact answer that Secretary Sebelius gave today, which is we'll have that in mid-November. And you got to ask yourself, do they not have data?
Yeah,
do they not know?
That's inconceivable to me that you would run a website and you could even tell how many people have looked at it, because, my gosh, you know, Congressman, I can tell you how many people look at MikeHuckabee.com every day. I can tell you how many people are unique visitors, not just how many people looked, but how many of them are unique visitors. And it's hard for me to believe that if I can do that with my website, that with all the resources of the federal government, they are incapable of telling us how many people have actually bought the product.
Well, it was clear to me that it had all been rehearsed, and I know how these things work. They prep them and brief them, and they tell them they put them in a room and do what's called a murder board preparation to make sure when the questions come that they won't break. And, you know, a real answer like, hey, we've got those numbers and we're just not going to share them with you, would at least be more honest, I think. I think that there are a lot of answers that we still need to get. We learned today that apparently they launched the website knowing that there were security encryption concerns.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. We just talked a few minutes ago to Congressman Mike Rogers of Michigan, who really pointed those questions at Kathleen Sebelius. And it was astonishing that they had to admit, no, we really don't have security and we can't guarantee privacy. Congressman, I hope you'll keep the course and not let them off the hook, because, I mean, every American is affected by this. So thanks for keeping your eyes on the ball.
Well, thank you for letting me come on, and look forward to talking again soon, and we'll keep you updated, Governor.
Thanks a lot. Congressman Tim Griffin of Arkansas, he is on the House Ways and Means Committee. That's the committee that deals with all tax policy, financial issues in the House of Representatives, and yesterday was their day. Today it's the House Energy and Commerce Committee. That's the committee that deals with largely Medicare, Medicaid issues. So both of these committees trying to get answers. Hard to get them out of this administration, which, by the way, remember, is the most transparent administration in history.